Maya lived in a small town surrounded by green fields and quiet streets. She was a gentle and thoughtful girl, always noticing things that others often ignored. She loved animals, flowers, and the little moments of life that brought calm to her heart. One sunny afternoon, she decided to take a walk near the edge of town. The wind was soft and warm, the sky was clear, and the sound of birds filled the air. She enjoyed the peace that came from walking alone, thinking about her day and the world around her. As she wandered along a dusty path near the edge of the town, something unusual caught her eye. A shadow moved slightly by the side of the road. Maya walked closer and saw a dog lying on the ground. It was a German shepherd, but it looked weak and hurt. Its fur was dusty, its eyes were tired, and one of its legs was bent at an odd angle. The dog's breathing was shallow and it whimpered softly. Maya felt her heart ache. She had seen stray dogs before, but none in this condition. She knelt down slowly, keeping her voice soft and calm. "It's okay. I won't hurt you," she whispered. The dog turned its head to look at her. Its eyes were sad but alert, as if it understood her words. Maya noticed a small paper tied to its collar with neat handwriting. It read, "Please help me. I cannot walk properly. $2 will save me." Maya's eyes widened in surprise. $2 seemed far too little for the care this dog needed. But she also felt a strong urge to help. She reached into her pocket and found the $2 bill she had saved for an ice cream. She placed it gently near the dog. The German shepherd sniffed it, then looked at Maya with a soft gaze that seemed full of trust. Maya knew she could not leave the dog there. It needed care, food, and shelter. She carefully lifted the dog, supporting its injured leg. Despite the pain, the dog did not struggle. It rested its head on her shoulder, trembling slightly. Maya whispered reassuringly, "Don't worry. I will take care of you. You are safe now." The walk home was slow. Maya took extra care with each step, making sure the dog's injured leg was protected. Even though the dog was in pain, it occasionally tried to lick her hand as if thanking her. The sun began to sink behind the trees, painting the sky with warm shades of orange and pink. Maya felt a strange mix of sadness and hope as she walked. She could not understand why anyone would leave such a beautiful animal to suffer, but she felt grateful to have found it in time. By the time they reached her small house, Maya's heart was racing. She placed the dog on a soft blanket in the corner of her living room. It lay down carefully, wincing as it adjusted its injured leg. Maya brought a bowl of water and set it in front of the dog. The animal drank slowly, clearly exhausted but gentle. Her parents came into the room, surprised to see the dog. "Maya, where did you find this?" her mother asked, concern clear in her voice. Maya explained everything, how she had seen the injured dog by the roadside, the note on its collar, and how she had given the $2. Her father frowned slightly, thinking about the possible cost of treating an injured dog, but Maya looked at them with determination. "We cannot leave it alone. We have to help it," she said firmly. Her parents looked at each other, then nodded. They knew Maya had a kind heart, and when she cared for someone or something, she gave everything. That evening, Maya prepared a small corner for the dog. She placed a soft blanket, a few pillows, and a warm light so it could rest comfortably. She gently cleaned its fur with a damp cloth, careful not to touch the injured leg too roughly. The dog closed its eyes, leaning into her hands as if sensing her care. Maya stayed by its side for a long time. She whispered stories about her day, her school, and her little adventures in the fields. The dog seemed to listen, resting its head on her lap, sometimes lifting its eyes to look at her. Maya felt tears in her eyes, not from sadness, but from a deep feeling of connection. She realized that love and kindness were far stronger than money, and the bond she was forming with the dog was priceless. Days passed, and Maya cared for the German shepherd with patience and devotion. She named it Bruno. Bruno was shy at first, but he gradually began to trust Maya. He would follow her around the house slowly, favoring his good leg but wagging his tail when he saw her. Every morning, Maya would prepare fresh food and water, and she would gently massage his injured leg to help it heal. Bruno responded with soft whines and small licks of gratitude. Maya's friends were curious when she told them about Bruno. Some of them wondered why she spent so much time on a stray dog. But Maya always smiled and said, "He needs love and I can give it to him. That is more important than anything else." She felt proud when Bruno began showing small signs of recovery. He could stand for a few seconds without pain, and sometimes he tried to walk slowly around the room. Every tiny progress filled Maya with hope and joy. One afternoon, While Maya was brushing Bruno's fur, she noticed something strange. Bruno's eyes were fixed on the window and his ears twitched constantly. Maya looked outside and saw a group of children playing in the field. Bruno suddenly tried to move faster, dragging his injured leg slightly. Maya gently held him back. "Not yet, Bruno, you need more time." Bruno looked at her as if he understood, then rested again. Maya laughed softly, realizing how smart he was. She felt that he was not just any ordinary dog. There was something in his eyes, a sense of gratitude and intelligence that made her feel he could understand everything she said. As night fell, Maya and Bruno sat together near the fireplace. She whispered, "You are safe now. No one will ever hurt you again." Bruno rested his head on her lap, closing his eyes. Maya felt tears in her eyes once more. She had spent only $2, but she had gained something far greater, the friendship and trust of a loyal companion. The stars began to shine outside, and the wind whispered through the trees. In that quiet moment, Maya realized that helping someone in need, even a small gesture, could change lives. She did not know what the future held, but she knew one thing for certain. Bruno and she were now connected forever. They would face whatever came together with trust, love, and courage. Maya gently stroked Bruno's head as he slept. She felt happiness and peace like never before. She promised herself that she would do everything she could to help him recover completely. In that moment, she understood a simple truth. Kindness always returns. Sometimes in ways we never expect, and sometimes through the eyes of someone who cannot speak, but can feel with all their heart. And so, in a small town surrounded by fields, a gentle girl and an injured German shepherd began a journey of healing, trust, and friendship. It was the start of a story that neither of them would ever forget. The next morning, Maya woke up early as usual. The sun was just rising, spilling golden light over her small room. Bruno was already awake, sitting near the blanket, his eyes following her every move. Maya smiled at him and whispered, "Good morning, Bruno. How are you feeling today?" Bruno wagged his tail slowly, still favoring his injured leg, but showing more strength than before. Maya prepared a bowl of warm milk and soft food for Bruno. She had learned from a book that injured dogs needed gentle nutrition to help their bodies recover. Bruno ate slowly but eagerly, and Maya watched carefully to make sure he did not strain himself. She felt a wave of happiness. Every small improvement Bruno made filled her heart with hope. After breakfast, Maya decided it was time to help Bruno exercise his leg gently. She cleared a small area in the backyard and placed a soft mat on the ground. Bruno hesitated at first, but when Maya called him softly, he took a few steps forward. He stumbled once, then paused and looked at Maya. "It's okay, Bruno, take your time," she said. Bruno seemed to understand her words and tried again. Step by step, he began walking more steadily. Maya cheered quietly, her eyes shining with pride. Days passed and Bruno grew stronger. His leg healed slowly, but his spirit remained bright. Maya noticed that he was not just recovering physically, he was also becoming more affectionate and playful. He would bring small sticks and toys to Maya, dropping them at her feet as if asking her to play. Maya laughed, feeling joy that she had never felt before. Her connection with Bruno was growing stronger every day. One afternoon, Maya decided to take Bruno for a walk outside. She held a soft leash and Bruno followed her carefully, favoring his good leg but moving with more confidence than before. They walked to the field near their town, where the grass was soft and the flowers smelled sweet. Bruno looked around, sniffing the air, and his tail wagged faster than Maya had ever seen. He seemed almost like a different dog, full of energy and curiosity. Suddenly, Bruno stopped and stared at something in the distance. Maya followed his gaze and saw a small group of children gathered near a tree. They were laughing and throwing a ball. Bruno's ears twitched and he tried to move toward them. Maya held the leash gently. "Not yet, Bruno. You are still healing," she said. Bruno looked at her, then sat down patiently as if he understood her words. Maya was amazed. She realized that Bruno was not only smart, but also very careful and loyal. Over the next few weeks, Maya spent every free moment caring for Bruno. She cleaned his wounds, prepared nutritious meals, and played gentle games with him. Bruno began to respond in ways that made Maya feel their bond was truly special. He would nuzzle her hand when she petted him, follow her around the house, and even sleep next to her at night. Every time she looked into his eyes, she felt that Bruno was trying to communicate something deep, something that words could not express. One day, while walking in the field, Bruno suddenly ran a short distance ahead and stopped near a small bush. Maya ran to him and saw what had caught his attention. There was a tiny kitten stuck in the branches, mewing softly. Bruno barked gently, then looked at Maya as if asking for help. Maya carefully approached and rescued the kitten. She held it in her hands and noticed how weak and hungry it was. Bruno stayed close, sniffing the kitten and nudging it softly. Maya smiled at Bruno. "You found a friend for us," she said. She decided to take the kitten home and care for it along with Bruno. Over the next few days, the kitten and Bruno grew close. Bruno seemed protective of the little animal, making sure it stayed safe and warm. Maya watched them with wonder. She had never expected that helping one animal would lead to caring for another, and she felt her heart swell with happiness. The kitten, which Maya named Nico, quickly adapted to the house. Bruno would gently lie next to it, sometimes licking its fur as if to comfort it. Maya realized that animals, like humans, could form friendships that were pure and strong. She felt proud of Bruno for showing such kindness and care. One evening, while Maya was brushing Bruno's fur, she noticed something unusual. Bruno's injured leg was moving with more ease, and he seemed restless. He looked toward the window, then back at her. Maya followed his gaze and saw a small bird trapped in a cage outside their neighbor's yard. Bruno barked softly as if urging Maya to help. Without hesitation, Maya went to the neighbor and explained the situation. They agreed to release the bird carefully. Bruno wagged his tail excitedly as the bird flew away. Maya laughed. She had never seen him so happy. As Bruno recovered, Maya noticed other surprising things. He was unusually protective of her, always staying close when strangers passed by. He could sense her moods, resting his head on her lap when she felt sad or jumping with joy when she laughed. Maya realized that Bruno was more than just a pet. He was a friend, a protector, and a companion who had become an important part of her life. One quiet evening, Maya sat by the fireplace, watching Bruno sleep peacefully. She reflected on how much had changed since the day she had found him injured on the road. What had started as a simple act of kindness, spending $2 to help a hurt dog, had grown into something incredible. Bruno had healed, gained strength, and shown Maya a new kind of love and friendship that she had never known before. Suddenly, Bruno stirred and moved toward Maya. He placed his head on her lap and looked up with deep, expressive eyes. Maya felt a lump in her throat. She realized that Bruno was trying to tell her something important. She whispered softly, "Yes, Bruno, I am here. I understand." Bruno leaned closer, pressing his head against her hands. In that moment, Maya felt tears rise to her eyes, not from sadness, but from a sense of overwhelming connection and gratitude. Maya also realized that Bruno had changed not only her life, but the lives of those around her. Her parents had grown attached to him, and even her friends had begun to admire his gentle and intelligent nature. Bruno had become a symbol of hope, love, and compassion. People who met him could feel the special bond between him and Maya, and they understood that kindness, no matter how small, could create extraordinary results. One morning, as Maya prepared breakfast, Bruno suddenly ran toward the gate and barked insistently. Maya followed him and saw a small crowd gathered near the road. A man had fallen and seemed unable to move. Bruno ran to the man, staying close and barking gently to alert Maya. She ran quickly and helped the man to sit down. Bruno stayed by his side, comforting him with gentle nudges and soft whines. The man thanked Maya, amazed at how the dog seemed to understand the situation. Maya smiled and hugged Bruno, realizing that his intelligence and kindness went far beyond what she had imagined. From that day, Maya knew that her decision to help Bruno had created a ripple of goodness in the world. Bruno had not only healed physically, but had also developed a deep sense of empathy and awareness. He had gone from being an injured dog on the road to becoming a loyal companion, a protector, and a friend to many. Maya felt proud, realizing that the $2 she had spent were nothing compared to the love and joy she had gained in return. Evenings in the house were now filled with laughter, play, and quiet moments of reflection. Bruno, fully healed, could run freely in the fields, chase the leaves in the wind, and cuddle with Maya whenever she called him. Nico, the little kitten, had also grown and followed Bruno everywhere, forming a trio of friendship that was unbreakable. Maya could not stop smiling as she watched them play, realizing that life could be full of unexpected joys when one chose kindness over hesitation. As the sun set one day, painting the sky in brilliant shades of orange and gold, Maya sat with Bruno on the porch. She gently stroked his fur, feeling the warmth of his body and the softness of his fur. She whispered softly, "You came into my life when you needed help, but you gave me so much more than I could ever give you." Bruno leaned into her hands, closing his eyes, as if understanding every word. Maya realized that her journey with Bruno had only just begun. They had faced hardship together, built trust, and discovered a friendship that would last forever. She knew that with love, patience, and care, even the most injured and forgotten souls could heal and find happiness. Bruno had taught her that, and she would never forget it. And so in the quiet town surrounded by green fields, Maya and Bruno continued their journey of love, hope, and companionship. Every day brought new surprises, new lessons, and new moments of joy. Maya understood that a small act of kindness could change the world, one life at a time, and she felt grateful to have experienced that magic firsthand. Maya woke up early that morning to the gentle sounds of birds singing outside her window. Bruno was already awake, sitting near the edge of the bed, his ears alert and his tail wagging slowly. He had grown stronger and healthier, but Maya could see that he still had a careful and thoughtful nature. She smiled and reached out to pat his head. "Good morning, Bruno. Are you ready for a new day?" Bruno responded with a soft bark and a happy wag of his tail. After a warm breakfast, Maya decided to take Bruno and Nico, the little kitten, to the nearby forest. The forest was a safe place full of tall trees, soft grass, and hidden paths. Maya loved walking there because it always felt peaceful, and it gave Bruno and Nico a chance to explore safely. Bruno followed her closely, occasionally glancing at Nico to make sure the kitten kept up. Maya felt proud to see how gentle and protective he had become. As they walked deeper into the forest, Maya noticed something unusual. There was a faint sound coming from behind a group of trees. It sounded like someone calling for help. Bruno stopped suddenly, his ears twitching and his body tense. Maya looked at him and whispered, "Do you hear that, Bruno?" He barked softly and started moving toward the sound, leading the way. Maya followed closely, feeling a mix of curiosity and concern. They reached a small clearing and saw a young boy sitting on the ground, holding his leg and wincing in pain. His bicycle had fallen beside him and he looked frightened. "Are you okay?" Maya asked as she approached. The boy shook his head and tried to get up, but he could not stand. Bruno walked slowly toward him and sat nearby, tilting his head in a way that seemed comforting. The boy looked at Bruno and smiled slightly, feeling less afraid. Maya helped the boy carefully, checking his leg for any serious injury. It was bruised and swollen, but nothing seemed broken. She called her parents for advice, and they suggested taking him to the local clinic, just to be safe. Bruno stayed by the boy's side, nudging him gently and resting his head near the boy's knee. Maya was amazed at how intuitive Bruno had become. He could sense when someone needed comfort and acted calmly to provide it. Once the boy was safely taken to the clinic by Maya and her father, Bruno returned home with her. Maya could not stop thinking about how brave and kind Bruno had been. He was no longer just a companion. He was a friend who could bring comfort to others in need. She felt her heart swell with pride and love for him. Days went by and life returned to its gentle routine. Maya continued to care for Bruno and Nico, and their bond grew stronger with each passing day. Bruno had fully recovered physically, but his personality had changed as well. He had become more intelligent, gentle, and understanding. He could sense emotions, recognize danger, and even act to protect those he cared about. Maya often wondered how a dog could be so wise and loving, and she felt blessed to have him in her life. One afternoon, as Maya was reading in the garden, Bruno suddenly stood up and ran toward the small pond at the edge of the yard. Maya followed him and saw that a little duck had become trapped in some reeds near the water. The duck was struggling and it seemed like it could not escape. Bruno barked softly, then looked back at Maya as if asking for help. Maya carefully waded into the shallow water and freed the duck. Bruno watched the whole time, making sure the bird was safe. When the duck finally swam away, Bruno barked happily and wagged his tail as if celebrating the rescue. Maya realized that Bruno had a special sense of compassion. He seemed to understand when another creature was in trouble and wanted to help. She felt proud and emotional, knowing that her small act of kindness toward him had inspired so much goodness. Bruno had not only healed himself, but he was also helping others. As the weeks passed, Maya noticed another surprising thing. Bruno began to show signs of intelligence that went beyond normal dog behavior. He could recognize certain words and follow complex commands. He even seemed to anticipate danger, alerting Maya whenever someone approached their home unexpectedly. One evening, when a storm was approaching, Bruno barked and pawed at the door insistently. Maya looked outside and realized that the branches of a large tree were about to fall near the house. She quickly secured the windows and doors, and when the storm hit, the tree fell safely away from the house. Maya hugged Bruno tightly, realizing that he was not only a loyal friend but also a protector. One quiet evening, Maya sat with Bruno and Nico in the living room. The fire was warm and the house was calm. She reflected on how much her life had changed since the day she had found Bruno injured on the roadside. What had started as a simple act of kindness, giving $2 to help a hurt dog, had grown into something extraordinary. Bruno had healed, become intelligent, and developed a heart full of compassion. Maya had gained a loyal friend, a protector, and a companion who would always be by her side. Suddenly, Bruno stood up and ran to the window, barking gently. Maya followed him and saw a small family walking by, carrying a basket of food. One of the children dropped a loaf of bread, and it started rolling toward the street. Bruno ran quickly, picked it up gently in his mouth, and returned it to the child. The family looked amazed and thanked Maya and Bruno. Maya smiled, feeling a deep sense of pride and happiness. Bruno had become a part of the community in a way that she had never imagined. The next morning, Maya received an unexpected visitor. It was the young boy from the forest who had fallen from his bicycle. He came with his parents, bringing a small gift as a token of gratitude. "We wanted to thank you and Bruno," the boy said. "He helped me when I was scared and hurt. We will never forget him." Maya felt tears in her eyes as she hugged Bruno. He wagged his tail happily, seeming to understand the praise. Life continued in its peaceful rhythm, but Maya noticed something even more surprising. Bruno began to show signs of unusual intelligence. He could open simple doors, retrieve items, and even alert Maya when something was not right. It was as if he had a sixth sense for knowing when someone needed help or when danger was near. Maya realized that Bruno was not an ordinary dog. He had a special ability to understand and protect. One day, while walking in the forest, Bruno suddenly ran toward a narrow path and stopped near a small hidden cave. Maya followed him cautiously and saw a tiny fox trapped inside. The fox looked frightened and weak. Bruno barked softly, then nudged Maya toward the entrance. Maya carefully rescued the fox, holding it in her hands and calming it with gentle words. Bruno stayed close, watching over the animal as they carried it back home. The fox slowly recovered under their care, and Bruno treated it with the same kindness he showed to Nico and the duck. Maya began to realize that her decision to help Bruno had changed not only his life, but the lives of many animals and people around her. He had become a source of hope, love, and courage. She felt proud and emotional, knowing that a single act of kindness, giving $2 to help a hurt dog, had created a chain of goodness that touched so many lives. Evenings in the house were now filled with laughter, gentle play, and quiet moments of reflection. Bruno had fully healed, but he had grown into a dog with a heart full of understanding, bravery, and love. Nico, the little kitten, continued to follow him everywhere, forming a trio of friendship that was inseparable. Maya often watched them together and felt a deep sense of happiness and wonder. One evening, as the sun set and painted the sky in warm shades of orange and gold, Maya sat on the porch with Bruno by her side. She gently stroked his fur and whispered, "You came into my life when you needed help, but you have given me so much more than I could ever give you." Bruno rested his head on her lap, closing his eyes as if understanding every word. Maya realized that life could be full of unexpected joy when one chose kindness and love over fear and hesitation. And so, in the quiet town surrounded by green fields, Maya and Bruno continued their journey together. Every day brought new lessons, new moments of joy, and new surprises. Maya had learned that helping someone in need, no matter how small the action, could create extraordinary results. Bruno had become a symbol of hope, love, and courage, and Maya felt grateful to share her life with him. From that day forward, Maya knew that her bond with Bruno would last forever. They had faced hardship, healed together, and discovered a friendship that could never be broken. And as long as they were together, they would continue to spread kindness, love, and hope to everyone they met. The morning sun poured golden light over Maya's small town, filling the streets and fields with warmth. Maya woke early, as she always did, and found Bruno sitting at the edge of her bed, his ears alert and eyes bright. Nico, the little kitten, was already playing with a small ball of yarn on the floor. Maya smiled at them both. "Good morning, my friends. Are you ready for a new adventure?" Bruno wagged his tail excitedly, and Nico mewed softly as if answering her. After breakfast, Maya decided to take Bruno and Nico to the river that flowed just beyond the forest. The river was a quiet and safe place with clear water, soft grass along its banks, and smooth stones that glimmered in the sunlight. Bruno walked carefully beside Maya, fully healed now but still gentle and protective. Nico followed closely, darting ahead and then rushing back to stay near her friends. Maya felt joy in her heart as she watched them together. As they reached the riverbank, Bruno suddenly stopped and lifted his head. His ears twitched and he sniffed the air intently. Maya followed his gaze and noticed a small abandoned boat tied loosely to a tree. The boat had been damaged and was filled with water, but something inside caught her attention. She carefully walked closer with Bruno at her side. Inside the boat, they discovered a tiny, shivering puppy. It was wet, cold, and trembling with fear. Maya's heart ached as she picked it up. "Oh, little one, you are safe now," she whispered gently. Bruno sat beside her, looking at the puppy with gentle eyes. He nudged it softly, showing it that it had nothing to fear. Nico jumped closer, sniffing the puppy carefully, as if welcoming it to their small family. Maya wrapped the puppy in a soft towel and carried it home. She felt a mixture of relief and excitement. Their small household was about to become even more lively, but she knew that they could give this little puppy the love and care it needed. At home, Maya prepared a warm corner for the new puppy. She filled a small bowl with water and soft food. Bruno and Nico watched carefully as Maya tended to the puppy. Bruno nudged the little one gently, encouraging it to eat. Maya felt her heart swell with happiness. She had rescued Bruno when he was hurt, and now she had the chance to help another animal. She realized that kindness always had a way of coming back, sometimes in ways that were unexpected. Days passed, and the puppy, which Maya named Toby, began to grow stronger under their care. Bruno became a mentor to Toby, showing him how to walk carefully, play gently, and trust humans. Nico, the little kitten, acted as a playful companion, chasing Toby and keeping him entertained. Maya watched them all with wonder. Her home, once quiet and calm, was now filled with laughter, joy, and the sound of paws and tiny mews. One afternoon, as Maya and the animals were playing in the backyard, she noticed a commotion near the edge of the forest. A small group of children had wandered too far and were calling for help. Bruno's ears twitched and he barked softly. Maya understood immediately. She grabbed a small first aid kit and called Nico to follow. Bruno ran ahead, leading the way through the trees. Maya followed, heart pounding with concern but trusting Bruno's instincts. When they reached the children, Maya saw that one of them had twisted their ankle and was sitting on the ground, crying softly. Bruno stayed close, his presence calm and reassuring. The children seemed to relax when they saw him. Maya treated the ankle carefully and wrapped it with a bandage from her kit. She spoke gently to the children, comforting them as Bruno sat nearby, occasionally nudging them with his nose to encourage them. Nico meowed softly, adding a small, playful presence that made the children smile. After the children were safely guided back to the town, Maya realized something incredible. Bruno had become more than just a companion. He had become a guardian, a helper, and a guide. He had learned to sense danger, to comfort those in need, and to act with wisdom and care. Maya felt tears of pride in her eyes. The little act of helping an injured dog had created a ripple of goodness far beyond what she had imagined. The following weeks were filled with moments of joy and discovery. Bruno continued to show extraordinary intelligence and kindness. One morning, he alerted Maya to a fire in the field near their house before anyone else had noticed. She quickly called the local fire brigade, and together with Bruno, they ensured that the fire did not spread to nearby homes. The town praised Bruno for his quick thinking, and Maya felt proud and grateful. She knew that he had become a hero in the quietest and most meaningful way. Maya also noticed how Bruno cared for Toby and Nico. He was patient with the playful antics of the puppy and the kitten. He allowed Toby to nibble gently on his ears, and he watched over Nico during her tiny adventures around the house. Maya felt a deep sense of gratitude. She had rescued Bruno, but he had returned the favor in ways she could never have imagined. He had healed not only physically, but also emotionally and spiritually, bringing love and safety to everyone around him. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky in shades of gold and pink, Maya sat with Bruno, Toby, and Nico on the porch. She gently stroked Bruno's fur and whispered softly, "You came into my life when you needed help, but you have given me so much more than I could ever give you." Bruno rested his head on her lap, eyes full of understanding. Toby snuggled beside him and Nico purred quietly, creating a moment of peace and happiness. Maya realized that the smallest acts of kindness could have the greatest impact. Giving Bruno $2 and helping him when he was injured had created a chain of love and compassion that spread far beyond what she had imagined. Bruno had not only healed but had also learned to care for others, becoming a source of hope and inspiration. Maya felt proud and emotional, knowing that their bond was unbreakable. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Maya reflected on the journey she had shared with Bruno. From the moment she found him injured by the roadside to now, when he had become a protector, a friend, and a source of joy, their story had grown into something extraordinary. Maya knew that their adventures were far from over. Every day would bring new lessons, new opportunities to help, and new moments of love and friendship. The next morning, Maya woke to find Bruno standing at the window, alert and focused. She followed his gaze and saw a stray horse that had wandered near the edge of the forest. The horse looked scared and lost. Bruno barked gently, urging Maya to act. Without hesitation, Maya prepared a safe path and guided the horse back toward the town, keeping Bruno and Toby close for assistance. The horse's owner arrived soon after, thanking Maya and praising Bruno for his intelligence and courage. Maya hugged Bruno tightly, realizing once more how much he had grown and how important their bond had become. Through all these experiences, Maya learned that helping someone in need could create an endless ripple of goodness. Bruno, once a hurt and helpless dog, had become a symbol of love, hope, and protection. Toby and Nico had joined this family of compassion, and together they created a home full of warmth and kindness. Maya felt blessed to witness and be part of this remarkable story. As night fell and the house grew quiet, Maya sat with Bruno on her lap, Toby curled up beside them, and Nico nestled near her feet. She whispered softly, "Thank you, Bruno, for teaching me what true friendship and love really mean." Bruno rested his head on her shoulder, eyes closing in peaceful trust. Maya smiled through her tears, feeling a sense of completeness she had never known before. In that small town, surrounded by green fields and forests, a girl and her animals had built a life of love, courage, and hope. They had faced challenges together, healed wounds, and discovered the power of kindness. Maya knew that the journey they had begun was far from over, and she looked forward to every new day with her faithful friends by her side. Maya woke to the soft rays of sunlight spilling into her room. Bruno was already awake, sitting at the edge of her bed, alert and happy. Toby, the little puppy, was curled up near her feet, while Nico, the kitten, stretched and purred quietly. Maya smiled at them all. "Good morning, my friends. Are you ready for a special day?" she whispered. Bruno barked softly, wagging his tail, and Toby jumped excitedly, while Nico mewed as if in agreement. Maya felt a sense of warmth and happiness. She knew that life had given her so much more than she had imagined when she first found Bruno injured. That morning, Maya decided to take all three of her animal friends to the meadow beyond the forest. The meadow was wide and open, full of colorful flowers, soft grass, and a sparkling stream. Maya loved it because it was peaceful, safe, and full of life. Bruno walked proudly beside her. Toby tumbled happily through the grass, and Nico chased butterflies with playful curiosity. Maya laughed, feeling a deep sense of joy. She realized that her small act of kindness toward Bruno had grown into something extraordinary, creating a life full of love, laughter, and companionship. As they reached the center of the meadow, Bruno suddenly stopped. His ears twitched and he stared intently at something near the stream. Maya followed his gaze and saw a small family of deer struggling to cross the water. The stream had risen slightly after a recent rain, and the deer seemed frightened and unsure. Bruno barked softly, alerting Maya to the situation. She approached carefully, keeping her voice gentle and calm. Bruno ran ahead, guiding the deer toward a safe spot on the riverbank. Toby followed closely, nudging the smaller deer to keep them calm, while Nico stayed nearby. watching and occasionally mewing softly. Maya felt a surge of pride and awe. Bruno had grown into a protector not only for her and her home, but also for other animals in need. His courage, intelligence, and compassion were remarkable. She realized that her decision to help him when he was hurt had created a ripple of kindness and goodness that spread far beyond her imagination. The deer safely reached the other side of the stream, and Maya, along with Bruno, Toby, and Nico, watched them disappear into the forest. After the deer had gone, Maya sat on the grass, gently stroking Bruno's head. She whispered, "You are incredible, Bruno. You came into my life needing help, and now you are helping so many others." Bruno rested his head on her lap, his eyes full of trust and understanding. Toby rolled onto his back, playful and happy, while Nico curled up beside Maya's hand, purring softly. Maya felt tears in her eyes. She realized that true happiness came from love, care, and the connections we build, not from wealth or possessions. As they rested in the meadow, Maya noticed a small group of townspeople approaching. They were carrying baskets of food, smiling and calling out greetings. Maya recognized some of them from the town, including the young boy whose bicycle had fallen weeks earlier. The boy ran toward Maya and hugged her tightly. "Thank you for everything," he said. "Bruno is amazing. He helped me when I was scared, and he continues to help others. We all love him." Maya's heart swelled with emotion. She hugged Bruno, who barked softly in response. Toby and Nico joined in, creating a circle of warmth, joy, and friendship. The townspeople watched with admiration, realizing that the small act of kindness that Maya had shown to Bruno had grown into something much larger, touching the lives of animals and people alike. Maya smiled through her tears. She understood that every act of love, no matter how small, could create a lasting impact. Over the next few weeks, Maya, Bruno, Toby, and Nico became well known in the town. People admired their bond and the way Bruno helped anyone in need, whether human or animal. Maya's home became a safe haven for injured or lost animals. She had learned how to care for them, and Bruno always assisted, guiding her, protecting the animals, and offering comfort. Toby learned from Bruno, becoming gentle and compassionate despite his playful nature, while Nico continued to bring joy and companionship to everyone. One afternoon, a new challenge arrived. A sudden storm had caused a small landslide near the edge of the forest. A young family and their dog were trapped on one side, unable to move safely. Maya immediately grabbed her bag with supplies, and Bruno barked urgently, leading the way. Toby ran ahead excitedly, while Nico stayed close to Maya's side. When they reached the scene, Bruno approached the family carefully, nudging the frightened dog and comforting the children. Maya helped the family step carefully to safe ground, guided by Bruno's calm and precise actions. The family reached safety, thanking Maya and Bruno repeatedly. Maya hugged Bruno tightly, tears of pride and relief streaming down her face. That night, as the storm cleared, Maya sat with her 3 friends by the fire. Bruno rested his head on her lap. Toby lay curled against his side, and Nico purred softly beside Maya's hand. She thought about how much had changed since the day she found Bruno injured on the roadside. What had started with a simple act of giving $2 to help him had grown into something far greater than she could have imagined. Bruno had healed, grown into an extraordinary companion, and become a source of hope and kindness for many. Maya realized that true happiness was not measured by wealth or possessions. It was measured by the love we give, the bonds we form, and the courage we show when helping others. Bruno had shown her the power of compassion, courage, and loyalty. Toby and Nico had become part of this circle of love, showing that friendship and care could create harmony and joy even in a small household. Maya felt her heart overflow with gratitude. She had given Bruno a chance, but he had given her so much more in return: trust, love, joy, and countless moments of happiness. In the days that followed, Maya continued to care for the animals in her town. Bruno became a guide and protector for lost or injured animals. Toby learned to help with playful encouragement, and Nico continued to bring joy and comfort. Maya's family and the townspeople often joined in, inspired by the example of kindness and courage they saw in her and her animals. The town had become a place where love, care, and respect for animals flourished, all because one girl had chosen to help a hurt German shepherd. One evening, Maya sat on the porch watching the sun set over the fields. Bruno lay by her side, Toby at his feet, and Nico perched near her shoulder. She reflected on their journey together, the challenges they had faced, the lives they had touched, and the love they had shared. She realized that every act of kindness, no matter how small, had the power to create a ripple that could change the world. She whispered softly, "Thank you, Bruno, for everything. You came into my life needing help, but you have given me so much more than I could ever imagine." Bruno lifted his head and nuzzled her gently, as if understanding every word. Toby rolled over happily and Nico purred softly. Maya felt tears fill her eyes, not from sadness, but from a deep sense of joy, pride, and love. She knew that their story would continue, filled with new adventures, acts of kindness, and moments of connection. The bond between Maya and her animals was unbreakable, built on trust, compassion, and love. As night fell and stars twinkled in the sky, Maya closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the warmth of Bruno's body, the gentle presence of Toby, and the comforting purr of Nico. She understood that helping someone in need could create a life full of love, courage, and joy. She had given Bruno $2 to help him heal, but he had returned a lifetime of love and happiness. Maya smiled, knowing that they had all grown together, healed together, and created a story of friendship that would never be forgotten. The small town, the green fields, the forests, and the river had witnessed a remarkable story of kindness, courage, and love. A girl had helped a hurt dog, and in return the dog had changed her life, bringing joy, protection, and hope. Toby and Nico had become part of this extraordinary journey, showing that love multiplies when shared. Maya knew that their adventures were far from over, and she looked forward to every new day with her loyal friends by her side. Maya hugged Bruno tightly one last time that night. Feeling the warmth of his fur and the trust in his eyes, she whispered, "No matter what happens, we will always be together. We will face everything with courage and love." Bruno rested his head against her chest, and Toby and Nico snuggled close, creating a circle of warmth, protection, and friendship. Maya closed her eyes, feeling complete, knowing that their story of love, trust, and kindness had reached a beautiful and unforgettable moment. And so, the girl, the German shepherd, the little puppy, and the tiny kitten continued their journey together. They had faced hardships, healed wounds, and created bonds stronger than any obstacle. Maya had learned the true meaning of kindness, courage, and love, and Bruno had shown her that even the smallest acts of help could lead to the greatest happiness. Together they lived each day with joy, hope, and a heart full of gratitude, leaving a legacy of love that would never be forgotten.